we are here in Denver at the villas, touring this house, having an open house, and we're waiting for you guys to give us some questions, or we can just start chatting. If you guys don't have any questions, we're just going to start chatting and talking about this amazing house. Or talk about, so what is one thing that you get asked a lot by your clients for lending purposes? Do you know, like what?
I'd say the most asked thing, or the thing that people think they need to do, is all about down payment. So all about what you need to have in down payment. Okay. People always think you have to have 20%, which right. Of course you don't have to have 20%. So okay. You could do conventional. If you're a first-time home buyer, you can only put 3% down and do that. If you're not a first-time home buyer, you can do 5% down. And then for FHA, you can do 3.5% down. So it's a lot less than 20%. And if you're saying, Shawn, I want to not have mortgage insurance, so that's why I have to put 20% down, you actually don't have to put 20% down. You can put 15% down and do an upfront mortgage insurance. That's usually about $2,000 to maybe $4,000, depending on how big the loan is.
Okay.
But then you don't have to pay mortgage insurance the rest of the time, and you're out of it.
Okay.
But it saves you a lot. Instead of putting 5% more down payment, it saves you that money, so you can spend that money on getting new furniture and moving expenses and all that kind of stuff.
All the fun stuff that you want to put in your house.
Yes.
And I think that's that was a good question and answer, because I feel like that is a big thing. It's a myth that people have, you know, mm-hmm. like, oh, I have to, you know, have so much money, or my credit has to be this so high. And these are all things that why we are here talking, and like why you should be talking to somebody in that field, so that you know exactly what they're needing, what they're wanting, so you're not listening to your aunt's cousin's second best friend's sister's uncle on, nope, you have to have this, and you have to have this, and he's not even a lender.
It's a lot easier than people think, too. And there's always down payment assistance programs that can help people. And for down payment assistance, there's 2 programs. One, you can go down to a 620 credit score, and the other one would be a 640 credit score. So that's another way.
620?
Mm-hmm. You can go all the way down to 620. So it's another way to help people out, especially first-time home buyers that maybe don't have all that cash to put as a down payment. It's a really good way where it pretty much, so if you do a conventional loan and you're putting 3% down, it covers 4%. So it covers your down payment and some closing costs. So you come to the table maybe with $5-6 grand that you put towards buying a house instead of in the 10s or whatever, 20s.
All wrapped up into the loan.
Yep.
That is crazy. Hey guys. That's good to know, because I think that's another something that's a lot of things are misunderstood, especially with, I feel like everybody's circumstances are different. So what typically one person did is not going to work, or even be the same stipulations or guidelines for the other person.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people hear, oh, well, my neighbor got this, and my neighbor got that, or the person I work with got this, and it's kind of hard, because it might be in that same realm as far as maybe interest rate and stuff like that, but every person's financial picture is different, and when we go for rates, it's looking at everything in your financial picture, and even what kind of house you're buying, anything like that can impact your rates.
Wow.
So don't always compare yourself to your neighbor.
To your neighbor, or your sister, or your friends.
Yeah.
Or it's like, well, they bought here a year ago at this rate, and it's like, okay, well, now you're dealing with time, which you don't know if the property is appreciated or depreciated, or if the rates. I mean, right now, what are you seeing rates at right now? Like
usually in the low 3s. We're still having a couple 2.99 rates, but usually in the low 3s right now. And then probably expecting by the end of the year for them to go back up to probably closer to 4.
Oh, wow.
In the 4s, yeah.
And that's for conventional or
FHA.
Any, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Now, what about VA? Like, how are you seeing any rates going lower with VA in terms or not really?
I mean, VA is a little bit lower. Mm-hmm. It's still From a
Hi,
lender's
pretty
perspective,
face.
VA is a little riskier because you don't have to put any money down.
Right.
So it's a little riskier for the lender to do. So sometimes those rates will be either the same or maybe higher, just depending on what your credit score is and all that kind of stuff.
So there's all these working parts to make all this stuff work. We are doing good. We just did a tour of this amazing home. Apparently TikTok's, I think, and my connection isn't working right. So my live for the tour was kind of on and off, but I will do a picture carousel for my next video I will post after this live. But we're just here. This is Shawn with Summit Funding. I'm Linda, of course. You guys are following me. But definitely find him. Go follow him. We can put it in his link is in there, or I can put it in the chat. And then you guys can go follow him. But we're just here answering questions. If you guys have any lending questions, if you guys have any real estate questions, just anything. It's kind of casual Saturday. So that's how we're doing. How are you? And what's your weather like? Because it's like a beautiful day right now. It's like perfect. Here, we'll do another, flip the camera because we have new people in here. So let's do another balcony check. What's up, D? Good to see you. Say hello in the chat. We are checking out. What's up, Jimmy? Just showing off. Saying what's up. Yes, pretty face. All right. You have to tell me where you guys are from. What are you guys doing? Let's see. And I'm just sitting here asking Shawn questions. So.
So come up with some questions.
So come up with some. Let's go. See what's going on here. So we talked about some myths. We're trying to break some myths because sometimes those come up where you get those negatives where people are automatically just, well, no, I can't even look. I can't even talk. And that is one thing that I do all the time with my clients, especially when I have people come to me. I go, okay, have you talked to a lender? And if they tell me no, I'm like, awesome. I am so excited to work with you. I can't wait. But I want to set us both up for success. So we're going to go talk to this lender. You have one you know, great. If not, I have amazing lenders just like Shawn that I work with that will put you in the right direction so that we can all be, again, set up for success and get the ball rolling so there's no, like, surprises. Because my whole thing is I don't want to go show you a property that you absolutely fall in love with and then you can't get it. Because you either don't qualify or it's not in your price range or it's not in the area that you wanted. Like, these are all things that we need to get out of the way first so that everybody's on the same page and we kind of go from there.
Yeah, the best thing to do is get that pre-approval so you kind of know. Like Linda said, I mean, you don't want to go look at a house and fall in love with it and then find out you can't get that. So it always helps to look with a lender first and get pre-approved, and then you can house hunt after that and look at all the houses you want to.
And like the ones, we were just having an HOA conversation earlier. So I know a lot of states or a lot of different places, they'll have them, they don't have them. Here, we see them all the time. It's not a big deal. But those are things that will also, people don't think about, that will affect their mortgage, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you go into a mortgage, we include how much your HOA would be into your debt-to-income ratio. So that can be a big factor if you're looking at a house that's pushing your limit, your purchasing power,
Mm-hmm.
and then say the HOA comes in really, really high, you might not be able to get that certain house. So it's always good when you are house hunting to check with your lender and kind of say, hey, can you run the numbers for this place?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the address. Let me know that I can do this before I go look at it and fall in love with it. So that's something that we always like to do, so you're not getting your hopes up.
And getting
And then so you also know with that house what your monthly payment would look like and all that kind of stuff.
And that, I think, is really, and that's why the realtors and the lenders have like a tight connection, because that's something that I personally do all the time for my clients as well. If we go see a property that they are like, you know what, we're serious about this one, even if it's not a hard yes yet, but they're serious and it's in that pile to consider, then I'm like, cool, I'm going to send that over to Shawn because he's going to run all the numbers so you guys know exactly what you're going into before we even put the offer down. Because like he was saying with the HOA, or there may be the property taxes, there's all these things that are going to encompass your mortgage payment. And you might be like, oh no, it's in my budget, it's perfect. But then you add it all up and you're like, oh my Lanta, that is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
That is way past what I do, but we already put an offer in. Or you already fell in love with it. Or it's like, nope, this is my number one. So this is why we communicate so well together and keep in contact so that there are no surprises at the end. What's up, Shawn? Say hello. Say where you're from. We're just talking lending until you guys give us some questions. I know my connection is like funky, so hopefully I just feel like it's kind of all over the place. But anyways.
It's good.
So what's another, I'm trying to think. Seasonal. So seasonality. Do you guys have seasonality that you have to deal with in terms of like, when I hear seasonality, it's like, oh, well, I'm waiting until next summer because it's the perfect time to buy. Or I'm waiting till winter because it's the perfect time to sell. Or do you get those kind of things in your...
Yeah, we get them. And so what I have always done is kind of show them, okay, you can wait, but let me show you what a house looks like last July and what it looked like this July. And you can kind of see, wow, for the same house, you're paying a lot more than if you would have bought it back in July. So unless there's some kind of financial reason that you're waiting, maybe you're waiting on commission income and you have to have that full year at least to show that, it usually isn't beneficial to wait on market, especially as hot as Denver. It's good to get in and then build that equity.
Yeah. And I actually just did a YouTube video. It was my last YouTube video I did last week. It's live on my YouTube channel, so definitely go check that out. And I did a whole, that was one of the main topics, was talking about seasonality and why this is such a myth. Because it is true, but it's not true. Because if you have so many people that are going, oh, I can't sell until summer, then it's like, yeah, there's going to be a lot more listings in summer than there is winter. But at the same time, if that's the case and how everybody's thinking, you're also going to have more competition. You're going to have those price gaps where it's like, oh, well, now I have to like bid for it because there's so many offers. So now I'm even spending more, whereas if I would have bought in the winter, I would have had less competition. Yeah, there would have been less listings, but I would have had less competition and I would have paid probably a fraction of what I overpaid or paid for that property.
And as far as a buying perspective goes, in the winter, since there's not as many people looking to move in the winter, sometimes you can get prices a little cheaper than you would have got it a couple months back in the summer when everyone was looking at a house. So sometimes the times you think are bad to look for a house are actually the best times.
Perfect, exactly. So definitely keep that in mind when you guys are looking. Okay.